Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Gamertag Radio.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have here Rod Fergusson. Rod, man, I know it's been a while. Well, actually, you were on the show, but this is like, woof, years of war days. This is like a long time ago, man. I just want to say welcome back, man. But this time we're going to be talking about Diablo IV, this year's roadmap. We're going to talk about that, man. How's everything?
Everything's great, dude. Like, and if you're not too tired of it, congrats on the 20 years. I mean, I think since you have 20 years of Gamertag Radio, yeah, I have to imagine, that you go back a long ways with a lot of people.
yeah, a lot of people. Old school. Yeah, man. It's just how exciting it's been, man. You know, working on this project, you know, compared to like your previous projects, totally different, by the way. Still a little dark on both, on multiple projects, right? So how's that process, like, you know, changing from working on that, you know, the previous studio to this, so Diablo 4, man?
It's been great. I mean, it's been funny to be sort of the M-rated game at Microsoft and then the M-rated game at Blizzard. So apparently I'm going to be the hard M game forever, developer. But no, it's really cool. I think the hardest part was actually the transition was during COVID. So I basically had 8 days in the office before everybody left, and so I had to kind of sort of learn the team and the team get to know who I am all through on a little Zoom window. So it was hard with that transition, but the game and the team and the company is fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's been exciting seeing the process. Also, been having a great time. Look, I haven't played the most recent stuff from Diablo 4, but I'm very excited about the roadmap because it's like I see this like the first time you guys have done this before, like announcing teases of stuff that's happening this year. I'm going to share very quick right here the screen. Let's see if I could pull it up right here.
Okay.
So this is it. This is basically this is like the whole year right here, man. So
yeah.
Why do you guys make the decision of showing this to the public, to the gamers?
We just wanted to give people, a sort of a glimpse into what the future holds. It's a starting point for how we think about the year, and we just wanted people to know, like, I think the first year when we launched, a lot of it was we were reacting a lot to feedback and reacting to what was going on. And so it was hard to sort of say like, hey, we know exactly what we're doing, for the full year. And now as we've got, our process matured, our team has matured, and we've continued to grow the game, we were able to sort of now look at it and be more tactical about like, here's what each season is, because seasons are all developed sort of in parallel. And that's one of the challenges of development, is that it's not built in serial. So you're not just like, oh, here's a season, wait till it's over, start the new season. You to have that content always available, you kind of have to overlap your development. And that's why when people will be like, hey, we gave you this feedback last season, where is it? And we're like, yeah, we already, it's like when we launched Diablo 4, we'd already finished the work on season 1. So when people were like, hey, we gave you this feedback, how come we don't see it in season 1? I was like, well, we were already finished before we even got that feedback. And that's just one of the challenges of having a live service, is having this content that's ever fresh and ever changing. And so you kind of have to get ahead of it. And so this time we're trying to we want to be more forward looking and communicate with the players and get their feedback. And we'll continue to iterate based on that feedback. But this is a good starting point. It gives you sort of the general themes for the rest of the year, and then a little bit of a glimpse of what we're doing next year.
So if there's players out there that are not high levels yet, they're still playing the game, from like the base game.
Right.
Is this something where they need to be at a high level to experience all this type of content in the future?
No, actually, no. That's one of the nice things about the seasons, is that you're able, basically seasons is a way to start over. So we know that there's a kind of two types of players. There's the player that sort of spends their time in what we call the eternal realm, which is a player who plays, they have their one character and they're never letting go, and they want to develop that character forever. And that's the sort of what you look at permanent additions on this roadmap are really meant to speak to them. Like, here are changes that coming to the game that apply to all players. And then we have the seasonal players, which is the players that a lot of ARPG or the action role-playing game players are like that. The joy of an action role-playing game is in that progression curve, that idea of going from zero to hero. And seasons allow you to do that kind of over and over and over, where you start a new character when a new season starts and you feel that progression curve again. And so what we want to do is create novelty and new ways to play, and sort of things where you get, oh, this, for season 8, it's about, which is our season that's starting on the 29th of April. It's about boss powers. You go kill a boss, you get to take their power, and now you can apply that to your character. And so that sort of creates a bunch of novelty and fun, and it's a great way to experiment. And then because we know in season 9, you can start a new season and start a new character and have a new way to go after, in this case, Heraldric powers. So you don't have to be a high-level player to jump in at like on April 29th. That's part of the joy, is you can actually, everybody starts over at level 1 if they want to.
Let's talk about season 8. I know you mentioned that's April 29th, the official date for this.
Yeah.
So first thing that got my attention is, one, I can't believe it's been 2 years. Oh my God.
Time
has passed so fast. Yeah. I mean, what type of content we get to see for the second year, at celebrate the anniversary of the game?
Yeah, well, we're sort of going through and finding ways to sort of look at some of the things that we have, like our boss ladder and our bosses, and how we can go in and tweak those and change those, and again, to create that novelty. What we're excited about with season 8 is the return of Belial. So for the lore nerds out there, there are these sort of 7 greater evils, and that are part of like the 3 primevals with Mephisto and Diablo and Baal. And then you have the 4 lesser evils, and Belial's one of them. He's the Lord of the Lies. And he was a big part of Diablo 3, and it's great to bring Belial back. And so, with everything that's going on in our story around Mephisto's return to Sanctuary, it's a great opportunity to bring back the Lord of Lies. And so you get to fight Belial as part of season 8, and we get to go after those bosses and steal their powers and be able to take them on. So you get to equip, there's a way that it works, but you can basically steal 24 different boss powers, and then you can have a main power and then modifiers to really change up how your character plays.
And what's this new IP collab, and what made you guys make the decision to work with another IP that makes sense for the game?
Well, that was the big thing for us, was that we've done internal collabs before, like we've done one with World of Warcraft, and that stuff always makes sense to work with inside of Blizzard. But as we were building Diablo, we were always trying to look at it, how we do things from an authentic perspective. And that's why even when you go back to when we first launched in the first seasons and the first cosmetics, they're very grounded. They're very trying to be true to the time and place of Diablo. And sort of as you get further along, you can kind of start to get a little bit more, fantastic in terms of what you're doing. But when we thought about collabs, we wanted to still lean into that authenticity. Like, what is a collab that doesn't feel out of left field, that you're like, oh, this, I could see this with Diablo. This makes a lot of sense. And so we're really excited to work with the Berserk IP, from the manga from 1989, and be able to go in and because when you think of that sort of dark, gritty, medieval, dark fantasy world that is Berserk, it fits really, really nicely with Diablo. So we're really excited to bring a bunch of collectibles and cosmetics from that IP into Diablo.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. How long you guys been going back and forth with trying to make this happen, this collab happen? Was it a while? Or what?
Yeah, it's been a while, but that's part of the process. Anytime you work with another IP, it's all about relationship building and showing, what you're thinking and building that trust and getting those approvals. And so we're really excited that this is our first external one. And we have a lot of fans inside the team. I'm relatively new to Berserk as a manga. I'm not the biggest manga reader, but just seeing how well it fits and going and looking at Guts and Griffith and all the things that we're able to bring. My favorite thing that we're bringing is, I don't know if you know much about Berserk, but there's a little dwarven blacksmith called Schnoz. He kind of looks like a walking nose, and when he's sort of over-characterized, and he's going to be one of our pets in season 8. So it's kind of fun we'll be seeing Schnoz walking around. So that's fun.
And what you could tell us about, still talking a little bit about the roadmap, season 9, and then the next season after that from September to December. I know it's not much information out there yet, but
right.
What else you can tell us from about those seasons?
Yeah, well, it's sort of, again, we're sort of leaning into different aspects of what we have in our game. So season 9 is really focused on how we can sort of level up dungeons and continue to change up the dungeon game. So you'll see a bunch of play around those. And one of the things, like with new Nightmare Dungeon activities, because we know that, we've been switching those around since we launched. And one of the things I'm excited for, I'm telling you, dude, like the number of people on Twitter or X with the keyboard and mouse support on console has been relentless.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
So I'm so happy that we're able to bring it in season 9 that people can actually use their keyboard and mouse on consoles. That's really exciting.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then season 10 again. So taking Infernal Hordes and going like, okay, how can we plus that up and really lean into it? And then we've got another IP collab that we're going to be excited to talk about soon. So it's one of those things. It's just sort of, again, we're trying to bring the novelty, make it exciting, and and then all that leads into 2026, which we know with the expansion 2 coming. We have this new ranking system and leaderboards that we're really excited about to really bring that sense of, we know that people want to have that sort of competitive aspect to it. And it's been challenging. We tried it earlier in trials and the gauntlet, and it didn't quite work the way we wanted. So we're really going to lean into working with our players to make sure we land that system right in 2026.
Yeah, at the bottom, the additions at the bottom. Well, what you can tell us a little bit about that, like for the different seasons.
For sure. Yeah. Well, so in season 7, which we're finishing up right now, we finally were able to bring the armory. So that's the idea that you can actually change your build on the same character. Before it's like, I love my blood necromancer, but I want to make a bone one. A lot of times you would roll a second character because you didn't want to lose everything you had done on the first one. So with the armor, you're actually able to swap that. You're able to change your armor, change your skill tree, all those sorts of things. And we actually made it a lot easier to turn in our bounty system, what we call whispers. We made it a lot easier to turn those in because we put places around the world you can do that. But in season 8, we're bringing new bosses to the boss ladder we're excited about. So Belial is showing up, and not only Belial, but he actually comes in 2 forms. We have what we call a baby Belial, which is the traditional Belial. And then we have kind of what you remember from Diablo 3, there's Giga Belial, which is this giant, sort of bigger than the screen, kind of world boss size Belial, which is going to be fun way to play that. And those people who own Expansion 1 will get some bosses from that. So Yuravar, which is sort of one of the bads from X1, and the Harbinger of Hate is going to be coming. Both those bosses are coming to our boss ladder. We're adding some quality of life around the boss, around being able to know, hey, here's the materials you need to make it easier to get to them and those sorts of things, because right now you sort of have to find them on the map. Reliquaries is a whole new feature. So Reliquaries is sort of changing up the Battle Pass game. And so one of the things, Battle Passes traditionally are basically like just a 1 to 50 or 1 to 100 or whatever it is. It's just a time, like a single linear line. And Reliquaries is a way of imagining the Battle Pass as a series of catalogs so that you can pick the order and what it is you want to unlock first. And so instead of saying like, if I really like this piece of armor, but I got to get to level 78 to do it, and the Battle Pass, like, it's a long grind to get there. But now you can go and say, that armor is inside this reliquary, and now I just have to go and I can target just that, and I can actually, once I get enough what we call favored tokens that you unlock just by playing the game, you can say, I want that armor first, right? And you can sort of decide, do you want to spend right away? Do you want to save them up as you're earning them? And it's this notion of how you want to earn your Battle Pass. Nick's giving me crap in the background because I'm using the internal term of Giga Belial, but it's actually supposed to be Supreme Belial, I guess is the player-facing name, but we call him Giga Belial on the dev team. But so the Reliquaries, I mentioned a dice to someone around. I felt like the Battle Pass was getting a little old. And Reliquaries is one of the ways to think about that, is instead of this single line of rewards, think of it as these catalogs that you can kind of pick the order and what you want to get first when you want it. So that's kind of exciting.
I really like that. Let the gamer have their choice, which the stuff that they want to get to see. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And what about I know I'm foreign here, but I just noticed right now at the bottom of 2026, I see the word new, and then just everything is burned up. What's up with these seasons, man? What's up with these seasons? Which is exciting. I know people see that. They're going to be like, checking the image out and everything. But it's cool to see that, little tease from you guys.
Yeah. We have lots and more stuff to come. Like I said, this is a starting point. And we kind of treat this as the cliche term of a living document. We want it to be something that we can sort of continue to evolve. This isn't us chiseling in stone. This is us putting down, like, here's where we are in our current thinking and giving people a glimpse into the year plus ahead. But as we continue to, announce our seasons and go through our dev streams and get feedback from our players, this roadmap will continue to evolve over time. But yeah, we did want to have a little bit. We have more stuff in store for 2026 that we know we're bringing, and we just wanted to sort of wink at it and let people know that lots of new stuff to come.
Yeah, that's good because usually a lot of studios will keep things quiet and not say anything. They don't even mention roadmap. So at least we'll get the gamers to come back or get excited. Those that are still playing the game. So I think this is the right move from you guys to show what's coming in the future for the game.
Thanks. Yeah, we took a lot of inspiration from Diablo Immortal, which is our mobile version of Diablo. It put out a 2024 roadmap, and we actually saw player counts go up with no new features, just with the roadmap getting announced. And so it was like, wow, that had a really big impact, just talking about the certainty of the future and here's where we're going. And they just put out their 2025 roadmap as well, which looks really cool. And it was a great inspiration. We knew we had to get there from a planning perspective, which we have, but we also then want to be able to communicate with our players about, hey, like, here's a sneak peek. And again, we'll get more details as we go. It's an evolving document, but it's just something we wanted to let people know, like, hey, we're in this, and we have exciting things ahead.
Yeah, and I know this is ahead too. This is for 2026. But leaderboards, why do you guys decide to work on that for the game? Leaderboards, is there a reason why? Or
yeah, you can kind of see it happens organically. Like when we don't do it, others sort of create them, and then because people want to be like, hey, I'm the top Diablo player, or I can go the deepest in the pit, or I'm the fastest at pit level 150. And there's this just a natural, like I said, it's sort of just organic to want to compete in the ARPG space, and trying to find the right thing to compete with. We tried a gauntlet, which was very like a fixed dungeon and plotting your routes and all this stuff, and it was okay. It didn't do exactly what we wanted it to do, and so that's why we sort of turned it off again. And we've sort of been cooking on stuff in the background. And like I said, I think what we're going to do this time is we're really going to work with the players much more closely. And rather than, it's one of the things I talked about at my DICE talk is, at some point, as a live service, you're always focused on surprise and delight. But we find that oftentimes what happens is that in your attempt to surprise, you may not always delight. and so that's kind of the thing I joke about using, trying to buy a Christmas gift for my wife is like, I could surprise her by getting her something she has no idea about and have a high risk of missing the mark. Or I could know what's on her list and get her something from that, and there's lots of delight and maybe a little less surprise. And that's kind of the way I think we're going to work with on leaderboards. I think by showing more and interacting more around leaderboards, I think we might turn down the surprise, but hopefully turn up the delight.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Now this is fun questions. Fun questions.
Yeah.
But one more time, the first season 8, April 29th. Yeah. It will be out there. Make sure to check it out. Yeah. And stay tuned for more future content from the team. Now this is the fun part. Now.
What, that wasn't fun for you?
I love this. Is fun. This is fun too. But it's just some fun questions and stuff, man. Sure. Look, as a gamer, your thoughts of seeing the Coalition doing the Gears of War E-Day, because that to me is super exciting, seeing the old school characters and everything. As a fan of games in general, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. It's really interesting to go that route. We talked about, I get the question, or I used to get the question. I mean, I spent 15 years on Gears of War. And the question was always like, why not an E-Day game? Like, why haven't you done the prequel? And really at the time, like, you remember we came out on the 360, they really didn't have the tech at a place where we felt like you could really do sort of that kind of an invasion where monsters flowing out of the ground and taking over a whole city and all those sorts of things. So I think it's really clever to, at a point in time now where the sort of the power of the hardware and the power of the engines, and the skill of the team means you can actually bring that story to life in a really meaningful way. So I think it's a great time to do sort of an E-Day prequel. So I'm excited for it. It feels weird to be, I basically, the 9, is it 9? It's like, 1, 2, 3 Judgment, 4, 5 Remastered Tactics, and Pop. So yeah, so the 9 Gears games, I've been involved in all 9 of them. So it's just a little surreal to have a Gears game being worked on that I'm not a part of. But
That is crazy. I would love to see a collab with you guys and Diablo 4 and Gears. I think that would be cool. Hey,
just gotta get
never know.
Get the chainsaw sword and
yeah, right. Fingers crossed. I think it would be awesome to do that. Yeah. And also like the Switch 2 that just got announced. What were you, as a gamer, what were your thoughts about? I'm excited. Look, I play when I'm always traveling. I'm always liking to take like my Steam Deck, my Switch, with me.
Yeah.
Actually, Diablo that came out for the original Switch. Bro, I was playing that nonstop with friends. I was always out taking that with me.
Sure.
So your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think there's opportunity there for sure. I mean, we have Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 Resurrected is already on the Switch and with back.
Highly recommended, by the way.
And thanks. And with back compat, like it'll be playable on Switch 2. It's nice that the Switch 2 has the performance that can run a game like Diablo 4. So yeah, it's something to look at for sure. I think the challenge is less around the hardware and just about how we, live services on Switch have been a little bit challenging in the past. And so I'm hopeful that as they launch, this June, and as we look to the future, that becomes easier and easier. So it makes more sense to put a live service on that platform.
Yeah, I know you mentioned mouse and keyboard for this one. I tried the Joy-Con mouse.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It's great. It was great. I was like, wow, this is impressive. Like I'm not a mouse and keyboard type of guy.
Sure.
But just as a test, it was pretty cool. I tried it for Metro Prime 4 because I was at the event checking it out.
Right.
And Civ, the Civ game too. I was like, wow, this is impressive. All right, this is cool. I can definitely see that. So
yeah,
awesome. Now, I just want to say, man, thank you so much for once again being on the show, and we love to have you on again. I would love also for Paris to come here. We could talk about some old gaming stuff too, man.
Oh, for sure.
And talk about your career too. I think you have an awesome resume, man. I think it is important to say that to the world, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, yeah, no, I'd love to come on. I'm congratulations on 20 years. Like not many things last, 20 years in this industry. So it's fantastic. You've been able to keep this going. And I was just looking at your episode 1400 and so I'm like, I don't know how you keep up with the content demands, dude.
You know it is. It's just the love that I have for the industry, the games. I'm always love the experience. Like I remember going to the Diablo 4 launch event. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
And actually my wife at that time, she was pregnant. We went, celebrated. I was like, oh, this is cool because we knew we were not going to be doing that later that year, So so that was like one of our last events that we went to, I remember. But that was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Being there and seeing everybody that worked in the game, and you guys were super, super hyped for the launch too, man. So it was awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. Time as flies. March 3rd was my 5-year anniversary at Blizzard. So the sword here is the 5-year anniversary sword that you get at Blizzard. So
nice.
Time flies like crazy. But yeah, no, we're excited. Having the season 8 coming in a couple of weeks here, and then the Berserk collab coming on May 6th, and then just the roadmap ahead. X2 is not that far into the future. I mean, it's next year, but it's not crazy. And so we're really excited about where Diablo is going, and hoping people come check it out.
Yeah, more to come. All right, Rod, but thanks a lot.
All right, take care, man.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.